is Trucking Safety with Sam Watts. I, of course, am Sam Watts. You are the adoring audience. You're at least the audience, okay? I don't know. Maybe I haven't worked my way up to adoring yet, but I'll get there. Trust me, I'll get there. But you are listening to the podcast that combines the trucking world, the safety world, throws them all together. And what do you get? You get Trucking Safety with Sam Watts. And that's exactly who I am. I am in the trucking life. I've been born and raised in this thing my whole life. I guess I just said that. But this is, I know Trucking Safety might be kind of a goofy, like discipline to get into, but I love it. Okay. I really do. I like how if you use safety in the trucking, like they work together. They really do. And I know a lot of times people try to make them, enemies, make them foes, all that kind of stuff. But we're not, okay? You can be cool to your safety people. We're good people, okay? We try to be happy. That's why I wear yellow, even though my wife said I look like a giant bumblebee. And I said, but I look like a cute bumblebee, right? And then she just kind of shrugged and walked away. So I think she likes that, yeah. But anyways, thank you very much for taking time out of your day, or, while you're driving or while you're working out. Hopefully you're getting swole out there listening to Trucking Safety. If you are, cool, thanks. I guess. I don't know. This might come as a shock to some people, but I am not the most dedicated when it comes to working out. I try to do it sometimes, and then sometimes I don't. So, sometimes I'll get right in that mood where I'm like, every day for 3 weeks, man, I'm hitting the weights and all that. And then some days I can't even spell the word weight, which if you think about it, it's kind of a goofy one, because is it Weight? I think it's not Wi. I don't know how the English language works. I just know how to speak it barely, but it's fun time. So anyways, before we get going here, got to give a shout out to Ewing Safety and Industrial. Or is it Ewing Industrial and Safety? Huh? Which one is it? Because I can't remember. But no, Ewing Safety and Industrial, EwingSafety.com. Okay, that is their website. Go check them out. Or if you're in the Morris, Illinois area, you can stop in and see them. But EwingSafety.com, trust me, you're going to want to check them out if you need anything when it comes to safety stuff, when it comes to tools, bolts, just anything that you need as far as safety goes. Maybe not bolts, I guess I should. Here's the deal. They got a catalog. It's massively thick, okay? And they're actually making a new one right now. So if you go to Ewing Safety or check them out on LinkedIn or whatever, I think they have a survey or a questionnaire or whatever they want to call it out there about what they should include in their catalog. So if there's something that's specific that you're like, hey, man, I wish somebody would do it, reach out to them, because they're somebody who no one else is going to listen to you. You think the Fastenal boys or the Granger boys care what you say? Probably not, unless you're doing $20 million a year with them, which if you're watching this podcast, I don't think you are. But hey, who am I to judge? Maybe you are. Maybe I have some really rich and influential people watching this too. I say, God bless you. Thank you very much. And even if you're a nobody, you're still somebody, okay? You're somebody to me if you're watching this thing. So thank you very much. Today, one of the things that I have been asked a couple times is road rage, okay? We all have it. Even if the ones that say they don't, you do. You might not express it as much as the rest of us do, but everybody has road rage. And if you don't have road rage, you might be psychotic, okay? I'm just saying. That's just me. But if you don't ever get mad at other drivers out on the road, that's impressive, okay? To the point of, like I said, I think you're psychotic. But I get road rage. I really do. And I know a lot of other people do as well. My wife has made the comment multiple times saying, do you have to talk to every other driver that is out on the road right now? And sometimes I do. Sometimes I need to point out that they're kind of being an idiot, okay? Or sometimes I have to point out how they're, being crazy. Because basically, if you're driving slower than me, you're an idiot. If you drive faster than me, you're a maniac, okay? That's how it works. I don't make the rules. I just follow them. But no, we all get road rage. And if you've been in the trucking industry for more than, 30 seconds, you'll know that not a lot of people know how to drive around semi-trucks, okay? And semi-truck drivers kind of get angry about that. And, before we go any further, I just want to say, I get that, okay? I understand that. I understand that there's times when cars will cut you off or cars will just so I've seen dash cam video of cars literally just stopping on interstate systems and turning around, like literally cars driving the wrong way in front of semi trucks. I mean, my theory, and I got nothing to back this up other than just, what I see, what I observe. I think that there are quite a few cars out there that are doing crazy stuff in front of semi trucks to try to get the insurance. Okay. Try to get that insurance and possibly take it to court and get, the hot topic right now is those nuclear verdicts. Anytime a semi truck touches a car, a nuclear verdict is handed down. And I think my buddy Matthew Leffler even came out with like a thermonuclear thing now. I don't know if that's trademark. If it is, it's trademarked to Matt. If it's not, cool. But Matt, please don't sue me, okay? I'm giving you the trademark copyright, whatever you want. But the thermonuclear, so like we're crossing into like the hundreds of millions of dollars now if a semi truck hits a car. And if I remember correctly, now I'm not a lawyer, I just play one on TV. But if I believe that was just like a car hitting a semi truck trailer, a semi trailer there, and the semi trailer manufacturer got smoked with that. If I'm reading that correctly, I think that's how it went, which is kind of ridiculous. Semi trucks are just kind of blamed just for being out on their own. Like that's all they have to do. They just have to be on the interstate system, and it seems like they're responsible for 50% of any accident that occurs with them. So the problem is that there's a road rage issue going on. Okay, drivers, these car drivers or cagers, as the truckers like to call them, they are kind of getting out of control in some areas. And unfortunately, it's the semi-truck driver that gets to deal with them because they're out on the road all the time, every day, in big cities. Okay, that's where a lot of these issues happen. Driving around these big cities, man, these cars are going nuts. And I've even seen it in my own personal vehicle. It just seems like these drivers of cars just, I don't know, and call me crazy, okay? Which you probably do anyways, but you can call me crazy on this one too. It seems like ever since COVID happened, that's when everyone seemed to kind of get crazy with driving. Because I think what it was is that everyone stopped working or stopped going into work and they stayed home. And then once they said, hey, let's get back into the office there, everyone came back up but forgot how to drive. Okay, it just seems like they go, I got 4 lanes here. I think I can do 87 miles an hour, because no one wants to hit 88 because then go back to 1955. And if you get that reference, awesome. If you don't, watch a movie, man. Anyways, but they just seem like they're going way too fast and they've kind of forgotten the rules of the road. But what a lot of cars don't also realize now is that a lot of these semi-trucks have dash cams in them. So for guys like me, I love them, okay? Because there's times where I will get phone calls from other cars saying, your guy almost killed me and he's doing crazy stuff out there. And I pull up the dash cam and go, hey, bud, you Mr. Car Driver there, how you swerved across 3 lanes and kind of cut my truck off? Yeah, that one's going to be on you. Or, how you rode up next to my truck and then stayed in his blind spot for 5 miles and then he turned on his turn signal and started turning and then you honked and he corrected himself because he couldn't see you and then you kept going like that? Like, that's not really going to be on my driver. Okay, should he be aware of his surroundings at all times? Yes, they should. But cars, do your part, okay? You don't want to be around semi-truck drivers. And guess what? Semi-truck drivers don't want to be around you, okay? Can we just get that out there right now? They don't want to be around cars because they know that cars are small and cars can stop really quickly. And sometimes cars cause big issues. And that, in turn, causes some road rage, especially when the cars or pickup trucks or whatever you got out there, when they feel that it is their job to tell the driver of the semi-truck that he's doing a bad job or he's doing something that they don't think they should. Guys, I cannot tell you the amount of times I have seen cars like swerve slightly into the path of a semi-truck just to throw him off a little bit. And it just boggles my mind that they want to play that game with the semi-truck. It boggles my mind that they want to play that game with their own personal vehicle. Here, I've never felt the urge to say, you know what, I'm going to give this guy a quick scare. Yoink, right in there. There's something wrong with you if you feel like you'd want to do that. The bigger one that I've seen is a car is angry at a semi-truck, and so they get in front of him and then brake check him. Like, you do know that is an 80,000, well, they probably don't know, but you should know that that's an 80,000 pound vehicle that cannot stop very quickly, that you're wanting to brake check in your little freaking Honda Civic, okay? Guess what? You lose in that situation. So maybe you shouldn't do that. But it is behavior like that that causes these drivers to have road rage. And then everyone wants to blame the driver and that, well, he needs to, be better. And granted, there is some times when, yes, the driver should be better. The driver shouldn't let the emotions get him. But if you're driving in a car and you take it upon yourself to tell that driver in your own way by using your vehicle that you don't appreciate his driving, that one's going to be on you as well, okay? Cars don't seem to understand that there are lane restrictions sometimes, that drivers have to be in left lanes, or they have to go to a different speed limit. It's just, you guys got to use common sense out there if you're in a car. But getting back to the whole road rage issue, yes, it can be aggravating. And there are times where I'll get calls from drivers or other vehicles and say, hey, your driver's aggressive. And I'll look and I'm like, yeah, dude, you are aggressive, okay? I know that car is doing crazy stuff, but you do not retaliate back, okay? You are running with an 80,000 pound vehicle. Do not retaliate. Okay, so one of the things I like to go through when it comes to road rage and aggressive driving with drivers is really kind of coaching them through that, okay? Now, this all is based off of severity. There are times when I will call a driver and say, hey man, got a little aggressive there. And 9 times out of 10, they go, you're exactly right. That is my bad. I apologize. I shouldn't have let my emotions get the best of me. I'm going to keep that in check next time. Cool, dude. Okay. That's what we want to hear. Okay. But there are times when it's severe enough where you got to go, hey man, you got to get out of the truck. Okay. That's just what you did there was just too much. Guys, there are drivers sitting behind bars right now because they let road rage get the best of them. And when they wanted to retaliate, they went a little too far and caused vehicular manslaughter. Okay, that has happened out there. So you got to keep that in check. But if you're in the office, if you're running the safety department, there's kind of 3 little steps that I like to go through when it comes to road rage, aggressive driving to help the driver out. Again, I preface this by saying it all depends on severity, okay? If you got video of a guy cutting across interstate lines, interstate lanes, I should say, and purposely going after vehicles, that's probably a safe bet that you're going to have to just get rid of the guy, okay? That was very aggressive. You can't have that liability on your fleet, okay? Now, there are other times when, the driver will kind of swerve back. And again, that's where we get into this, okay, maybe there's some coaching we can do. So that's the first one. The first thing I always do when it comes to aggressive driving that I deem is, okay, you just let your head get away from you for a second, is I coach them. And one of the best methods that I have found to do is you coach them with the dash cam, okay? Trucks should have dash cams now. If you are running a fleet without dash cams, you are doing yourself a massive disservice, okay? Not only in insurance reasons, that you could say, hey, look, we did our job. It's the car or the other vehicle that's screwed up. Insurance companies love that, okay? You can even get discounts with insurance companies. I've heard of insurance companies actually paying for you to have dash cams in your trucks. You got to have dash cams. But the other nice thing to have them is for instances, is that the right thing? Whatever. Like this, okay? A driver gets aggressive. I like to grab that dash cam video because usually I get notified. If there's some sort of massive swerving, massive braking, stuff like that, I'll get a notification on that. Or the other thing that happens quite a bit is I'll get a call from the other driver, the car driver, and say, your guy's acting out here. So I go back through and look. If it's not too aggressive, if it's just, hey, you could tell he let his head get the best of him for a minute, I like to coach him. Get that dash cam. Hey, man, this is what we saw. This is what happened. Get his side of it too. Say, what were you thinking? As best as you could say that. What was going through your mind right now? What can you do in the future so that that doesn't happen? And make sure, like I said in my last video or last podcast, however you're watching or listening to this, whatever, make sure that the driver knows that you're on their side, okay? Yes, you're correcting them. Yes, you're coaching them, but you're on their side, okay? You want them to get better. That's what good coaches do. Like I said, in any professional sport, the good coaches that stick around have players that will run through brick walls for them because they know that any sort of criticism or any sort of feedback that they get is there to help them. And that's what, as safety people, we need to be doing as well. We need to make sure that we're helping the drivers, making sure that, hey, they might not know what they're doing is wrong. That's where we come in and say, you're doing this wrong. This is what you need to do differently. And then make sure that they do that. So coach them, okay? Show them the dash cam. Make sure that they know that, hey, you cannot let this happen, okay? If I do that and I see another form of aggressive driving, I'll bring them in. I'll say, look, you're going to spend some time with me here now. You're going to lose probably half a day. You're going to lose miles on your truck. And you're going to come in and sit with me. We're going to watch the dash cams again. And then I'm going to, quote unquote, politely remind you that you are representing the company. And anything you do out there, it's not typically, unless it's an owner op with their own equipment, it's not your name on it, it's the company's name. So make sure that you are representing the company well out there. And then I like to scare them a little bit, saying, listen, if you're aggressive and you do something that hurts somebody, not even kills them, but just spins the car out or something, anything, you could be in serious trouble, okay? Not only with the law, but that's obviously the first thing. If you cause an accident, whatever, you're going to get fined, potentially arrested, do jail time. I mean, it could really escalate quickly. But at the same time, if you do something, that means the CSA scores of the company will go up, insurance premiums will go up. I mean, just everything snowballs. That's the game in trucking right now, is that any decision you make, any bad decision that happens, just snowballs, okay? It might seem like this, but eventually it'll get big. So that's why I like to remind the guy saying, hey, you got to watch it, okay? And I always like to say, you are on everybody's radar. You do not want that, okay? And again, 9 times out of 10, the drivers don't want that either. They just don't want to be known. They want to be left alone, do their thing, whatever. But if you're being dangerous out there, you're going to be on everyone's radar. And usually when I say that, that kind of triggers them to go, okay, if they hadn't figured it out already, that's the boiling point where they say, all right, I got to calm this thing down a little bit. And usually it stops right there. If it doesn't, that's when we have to take the drastic step and maybe making that driver available to the marketplace. So it's not something I like to do, but it's something that I have to do. Because as a safety guy, when you're working in a company or for a company or whatever, you have to protect that company at the end of the day. You can be friendly with the drivers, you can have their back and all that kind of stuff. But at the end of the day, the drivers don't pay your paycheck per se. I mean, you could kind of get into that, how they're making the money, but we're not going to get into that right now. Right now, the owner of the company pays your paycheck, signs your paycheck. That's what you ultimately have to protect. And if you have an aggressive driver on your fleet that could potentially damage that brand or hurt the reputation, you got to get rid of them. It's just how it is. And it's not a fun conversation, but it's a conversation that has to happen. Because if it doesn't happen, if you say, well, I'll give him one more chance. Yeah, he was a little aggressive this time and the last time and all that stuff, but I'll give him one more chance. And in that one more chance, something happens, crashes a car, kills somebody, whatever. It doesn't always have to be kill somebody. It's just a simple crash. And if lawyers get involved, the first thing they're going to want to look at is the history of that driver. Does he have HOS violations? Does he have any coaching sessions? They're going to figure out, okay? Doesn't take a genius lawyer to figure this out. They're going to figure out that driver is dangerous. and shouldn't have been on the road. And they're going to figure out that you had conversations about getting rid of that driver and you didn't because maybe you didn't have the guts to do it, or you're like, yeah, I like him, I don't want to do that. That's you can like the guy, but at the same time, if he's going to hurt you, you got to make that decision, okay? So it's tough, but if they're not listening to you in the coaching, if they're not listening to you after you bring them in, you got to make them available to the marketplace. There's just no ifs, ands, or buts. You can still be friends, but they just can't drive for you. And there is that. So again, it all kind of stems from the aggressiveness of the video. If you've got a super aggressive person out there who, you just know is not a great driver, maybe you skip right to step 3. Sometimes it's just best to just cut them out and move on, okay? Maybe it's not worth it. But I will say the FMCSA does like to see driver coaching. They like to see drivers get that second chance or whatever. They like to see coaching sessions and quote unquote rehabilitation. They like to see guys get a second chance out there under the guise of correct coaching. So they're not a huge proponent of if they crash, you're fired. Let's examine this. But again, those are kind of the steps I take when it comes to road rage, aggressive driving. And like I always tell any driver that I'm talking to, it's just not worth it. Okay? It's really not. If there's another vehicle out there that is bugging you, slow down. Just back her off for 30 seconds and let them go. Because they obviously want to get under your skin. Just don't let them. Here's the deal. You slow down for 30 seconds, you will never see that car again. I don't care if they swerved, tried to scare you off, honked at you aggressively, gave you the bird, anything like that. Let them go. It is so not worth it to get wrapped up in them and God forbid something happens and then you end up crashing and then you have an absolute nightmare on your hands. Okay. So I tell it to all the drivers, don't be aggressive. I understand how hard it is. I really do. Like I said, when I drive, some people they just get under your skin and you go, what is wrong with that person? I should teach them a lesson. No, you shouldn't. You have no lessons to teach. Just let them go. Okay. It's just that simple. You just have to let that aggression go. Put on some Barry Manilow and relax. Maybe not Barry Manilow. Maybe ABBA. Put on some ABBA. Is that it? ABBA? I think so. You can dance. You can shine. Having the time of your life. See that girl. Watch that scene. Dancing Queen. You know what I'm talking about. Anyways, so that's all I got for the aggressive driving. Okay, just don't do it. Let them go. Be cool. If if it's just going to hurt you. Okay, you're not going to prove any point. It's just going to hurt you. So if you have questions about that, comments, you want to give me some of your advice, cool, man, I'm all ears. Hit me up, Watsman or Sam@Watsman.com, Sam@Watsman.com. Love to talk to you guys. Make sure that you subscribe to my channel. Make sure that you hit the like button. Make sure that you leave us a 5-star review if you liked it. If you didn't like it, leave us a 1-star, but I will find out who did that. But no, that was maybe aggressive right there. But no, I appreciate everyone listening, tuning into this thing. We've got a couple things that we're working on with trucking safety. We did a video or a podcast with the Trailer Trash ladies. We've got a couple more in store with some other people, some live stuff. So good things happening, some fun stuff. I'm really enjoying this. I'm really happy that you guys are coming along on this journey with me. So anyways, that's all I got for trucking safety this week. We'll be back next week with another episode. And until then, drive safe.